charges of federal orders, incredible markers, indelible sparkers, immeasurable. Sparking the medical parkers on pedestal, sharks for that revenue, hawks for what's edible. Heart full of vegetables, art at the festivals, heart no cholesterol, sharp on those episodes. I'm on 100%. I like when summer begins. I need my hundreds and tens. I need 100%. Go independent like Prince. I'm on 100%. I like when summer begins. I need my hundreds and tens. I need 100%. I like when summer begins.
And regardless of the weather or what have you, Malcolm X always said, if it's 1 or 100 people in the room, you still stand up and teach. You know what I'm saying? So with that spirit, I definitely, again, I want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be an interactive presentation. It's not just going to be me standing up here pointing fingers and talking to you. You know, we brought something that we actually want you to participate in, something we want you to feel. The best way to learn, in my, because there's different learning methods. And one of the main issues that they have right now in school with the children is that they say they're only utilizing one method of teaching to teach our children, whereas our children are hands-on. You know what I'm saying? We like to climb trees. Everything damn near that I learned worth a grain of salt in life was learned through me doing, as opposed to somebody telling me. Even when somebody told me something, I still had to find out myself and bump my head. But you remember the bumps. So we're gonna do a little bit more of interactive class for this particular session. Now, when it comes to health and when it comes to fitness, one of the oldest axioms in existence is man know thyself, right? I can't say that I've read 10,000 books, but I've read quite a number of books. I've sat with masters, I've traveled the world for information, I've researched, I've studied, I've done just about everything that I could to acquire the necessary information to qualify what it is that they say that we all came here for, which is to know thyself. But in my studies, in my life, in my research, I found that there was nothing that was more qualifying to me knowing thyself than fitness. Fitness qualified all of the different areas that I had to pretty much absorb information dealing with my own self and be able to step back and say, wow, that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? Outside of myself. And what I mean by that is that this is the particular area where you are going to meet yourself. You're going to meet yourself at your own threshold. And your ability to either fall back or push forward past that threshold is pretty much going to tell you what you need to know about yourself. Everything else to me is secondary and mute, okay? Because fitness pretty much, it fit all of the things that life lessons were about. Dealing with perseverance, dealing with, the will versus the desire. You know what I'm saying? All of the great things that they say that we need as people or individual self per se to push past whatever these road blockages are in life that they say that we're born into. You're born into this and you can't do this because of that, and this system has been put in place. Well, as an individual, you have the ability to break free past all of those things. As a collective, they're telling you that, you've already been herded into this place and this has already been predetermined for you. But as an individual, again, based on what it is that you have, your own fortitude, your own grit, you can push past all of those roadblocks and you can propel yourself to these particular heights that are only spoken of, what seems to be in mythology. So through fitness, I was able to acquire a level of information about myself that I felt was worthwhile sharing to other people, and we could teach spirituality through fitness, all right? Now, one of the main goals or one of the main foundations of fitness, when we talk about the fundamentals of fitness, one of the main things dealing with the fundamentals spirituality is spirit. And spirit comes from the word of breathing, right? Breath and spirit is the same thing. So the foundation of all fitness, okay, is breathing, right? And of course, the breathing centers around your core, okay? So outside of everything, you know, initially when somebody is getting into fitness, you have to establish at first, what are you getting into fitness for, all right? Different people have different criteria that they get into fitness for, all right? Is it for image? Is it for health? Is it for your continuity of legacy? Meaning if you were born with good genetics, do you feel, you know, your responsibility is to maintain this particular level of fitness and get a little bit more fit so you could pass it on? Are you doing it to save face? You know what I'm saying? So you first have to establish, because the fusion between, or the contract, should I say, has to be first be made between you, your mind, right? You have to convince yourself mentally, first and foremost, this is what I'm going to do. Then you got to set a level of criteria for yourself. I'm going to do this in this amount of time. You know what I'm saying? This is my you know, my window to tell if what I'm doing is actually working. Based on the fact that, okay, I'm looking for these goals or these gains. How do you gauge whether what it is that you're setting out to do is actually being completed? So you have to allocate yourself an amount of time. You have to allocate yourself a particular bar or a window that you're looking to achieve, whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. And then, once you set this criteria out, then you have to mentally establish some sort of protocol, because there's a lot of different ways that you could go about your fitness. You know, some people deal with cardio specifically, some people deal with calisthenics, some people deal with weight training, some people deal with boxing. There's a lot of different modalities of fitness, and then some people put combinations of all of them together and they become, you know, master physicians or what have you, you know, or master technicians at the fundamentals of fitness, like our brother right here, okay? So you have mixed martial arts right now. You have the regular martial arts, which, you know, is encompassing of kung fu, taekwondo, ninjutsu, all of these different variations that we hear about. So there's a lot of different approaches and there's a lot of different ways for you to arrive at this particular goal. But like I said, first and foremost, you have to set the goal. So it's a contract between mind and matter, because you're going to need your mental aptitude to be at a certain level for you to command your body to break through these thresholds. And on the other side of your failure point is where you are actually, that's your God body. That's where you're trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people cannot get there. They can't get past that particular point, all right? For whatever reason, fatigue, failure, just a lack of actually believing that you can do these things, all right? And that particular attitude seems to have plagued our community in general. Like I said, when we step outside of fitness as a modality and we apply it to what we look at as our people, we can see that there's a connection and a correlation. And of course, a lot of it all ties back to diet, okay? And we're gonna talk about that as well this evening. So, like I said, being that the very first, to me, the most important fundamental of fitness is the breath, is breathing. The way that you contact your physical with your spiritual realm is through the modality of breathing and controlled breathing for that particular matter. There are modalities of fitness where you could just master breathing. You don't have to lift a weight. Because when you're lifting weight, that's all you're doing. You're using the breath. You're using the breathing mechanism to control the motion of you lifting weights. It's not about muscles, you know? So again, you have to even agree with yourself or set a criteria for yourself to say, well, what am I working out for? What is my fitness regimen about? Are you trying to get stronger? Are you trying to get slimmer? Do you want to move faster? Do you want to live longer? You know what I'm saying? Or is it encompassing all of these things? So once you set a level of a criteria to say, this is what I'm in this for, then they will start commanding and demanding to you okay, well, this is what you need to do to get to that particular goal. And once you set smaller goals and you start breaking through those goals, that's gonna set you up to propel through the larger threshold that you need to push through, where you gain the confidence to say, okay, if I'm able to do this, then what else can I do? And that's when it gets interesting. You know what I'm saying? That's when you start meeting the new you, and you leaving the old you on the floor back there, you know, and you start building the confidence to continuously push forward and break through new goals and new heights. So, like I did say to the family, this is gonna be an interactive class. So we wanna begin with breathing, all right? I wanna bring our instructor for this evening, my brother Levy, up, okay? And what he's gonna employ is the method of quote-unquote martial arts. It's called Bakwa. It's an ancient system, all right? And the brother can tell you a little bit more about his seafood and where this system comes from.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ty, and tonight we're going to go through some breathing exercises, and we're going to do some interactive workout together. This particular art, Bagua, is originally from Asia, and my teacher, he's been teaching it for a good 40 years. His name is Roosevelt Gang. You could do the research if you were interested in looking them up on Google. So let's get into it. The first exercise we're gonna do together, we're gonna sit down on a chair. So 1 second, let me grab the chair right here. I would like everybody to come to the edge of their chair. I would like you to put your feet right under your knees and to press your knees into the floor, and I would like you to roll your collarbone up. So now everybody's sitting upright. What I would like to tell you also is how you hold your body is how you feel about yourself. Your perception and how you carry yourself is reflected in how you carry your body. Now this first exercise we're gonna do is we're gonna breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth, right? But I want you to turn your body from your navel. Any direction you want to go. Observe first, right? So I'm inhaling through my nose, out through my mouth, but I'm moving my navel any direction. There is no wrong direction. Just move your navel. Any direction you want it to be, but keep your body up. Your collarbone up and your feet planted down as you're moving your navel. Keep those two presses. And I want you to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And I want you to use as much of your mind as possible to be aware of yourself. This is key. Don't let your mind float anywhere. Be aware of yourself. Breathe in through your nose, out your mouth. Awareness is power. Wherever the mind goes, energy flows. Be aware of yourself. Inhale in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep the posture up. And turn from your navel. Your navel is your center. It connects you to the universe. Once you connect with your navel, you connect with everything inside your body. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now I want us to stand up. I want you to bend your knees right in front of your toes. Unfortunately, I only use one hand, but the exercise I want to show you is we're going to inhale. Observe first. I'm going to inhale, pressing my fingers up into the sky. All of this is done on the inhale. Then, once I get to this particular point, I'm going to pull my forearms up, still on the inhale. Then I'm going to press the bottom of my palms down, exhaling. Exhale coming down. So we're going to inhale coming up.
Hello, Philly.
Wherever the mind goes, the energy flows. Inhale coming up.
What's up?
We're gonna exhale coming down.
I'm in the middle of this.
Exhale coming down. Same rules. When you're sitting down, keep your awareness in yourself. Be aware of yourself. Inhale coming up. Inhale coming up. Exhale coming down.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Inhale
course.
coming up. So, we're gonna close it out. 1 circle, 2 circles, 3, gathering the energy. Then I'm bringing it back to the center, like so. Now I'm gonna lock it in. 6 times around your navel is to store it. Inhale coming up. I'm gonna shake your hands and your feet out. So I got another exercise for y'all in this chair. Let's see. How do you feel?
Relax.
Great. Come to the edge of the chair, please. This particular exercise, you're gonna put your hand on your knees. And you're gonna roll your body down and up. I'm gonna show you. As I go down, I inhale, and when I come up, I exhale. Now I'm gonna try to put my hand in, I'm gonna try to put my head in between my knees, then I'm gonna roll my head all the way back up like this, so. But when I put my head between my knees, my heel comes in up in the air. And when I go back, my toes are in the air like this. So observe me first. I'm inhaling now. I inhale, coming forward, heels come in the air. I try to put my head between my knees. I exhale. Now my toes is in there. My head is on the ground. So your feet is almost, your body's like a rocking chair. So you're rocking yourself forward and pressing yourself back.
Once you remain consistent and they start seeing the energy waves moving and what have you, you know, they start taking notice and they backing up. They like, okay, I ain't got that magic. But what I did is, Spirit told me, go in the water and get it in. I went in the water for 4 minutes using that modality because what I was doing, I was breathing in my mind. So I was past the point of having to inhale and exhale physically. I was doing it mentally, and I was holding that particular demonstration. I came back and I told him like I was doing something. This is what he told me.
My teacher told me that his teacher scared him by being underwater for about 20 minutes. And when he jumped in there to go save him, he opened his eyes and was like, get out of here, with the gesture, like, no, I got this. So actually, he's tapping into something that can be done. What I was gonna mention was, when you were inside your mother, how did you breathe? So don't think you can't breathe underwater. The only reason why you think you can't do something is because you think you can't do it. Wherever the mind goes, energy flows, and that's the rules of the universe. Whatever you put your mind on and what you believe in, it's actually the reality, and that's your reality for you. Don't allow things to program you that's not right for you.
Indeed. So it's, you know, it's something that you have to be willing to dare to try. Because without that, how would I have ever known? How will we ever know anything that we were not willing to try? I'm a child that at a very young age used to always dream of flying. Can't nobody tell me to this day that I'm not going to achieve that by the time I leave this plane. In the physical, I'm going to fly. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that we have it in us. You know what I'm saying? Remember Super Mario Brother when he used to have the raccoon cape? Yeah, like I had those dreams before Super Mario. Before I seen Super Mario, it would always, I would elevate, I would hit air pockets, and I'm like, I could do this. You know what I'm saying? There was another visualization technique that I was utilizing. This was like in 05 when I was really into breathing. And I hit, again, I was utilizing a visualization technique where I'm breathing inside my mind, and I was able to hold my breath for upwards to like 7 or 8 minutes. And I hit an air pocket And when I hit that air pocket, my visualization showed me like sea turtles, you know what I'm saying, how they hit currents and they just flow with the current. So I hit an air pocket and I just was flowing with the air pocket in my mind though, but I tapped into something that's there. We can't physically see it. And even if it was in my imagination, it worked for me because I was able to physically demonstrate it. And I had witnesses, so it wasn't just me, you know what I'm saying, coming up saying, hey, like people see me demonstrate that. So there's a lot that we can do. This is a computer that we put our limits on it, you know what I'm saying? It has no limits. If they're saying that they have supercomputers, they saying they got IBM Watson, and they got AI, they got all of these things, and they're telling you, we haven't reached singularity yet. These computers that can compute at the level that they compute can't compare with your brain. What are they not telling you about your brain that you have no idea about? If these supercomputers are simulated to do whatever you can imagine them to do, because these supercomputers are super, but your brain is that much more super, you know what I'm saying? And we're only operating at 3% of it. They tell us 10%, but that's like Einstein level. You feel me? That's like at an Einstein level. So, or as you've seen with the movie Lucy or what have you, you know, we ain't operating at 10%, we operating about 3. So when we get the breathing locked in, and we start transferring more oxygen to our brains, then you are accessing different aspects of your superpowers, for the lack of a better word, you know what I'm saying? But again, like we demonstrated, with breathing alone, you can get to where you need to go. You feel me?
Specifically to something I would like to share pertaining to breathing. Breathing is a very slept kind of workout. People don't recognize breathing is emotions. So to master your breathing is to master your emotions. Every rate of breathing is a different emotional state. Therefore, to control your breathing is to control your emotions. Everybody needs to know that, because a lot of times breathing is like the thing that people sleep on the most. I'm telling you, breathing is connected to your emotions. When you sad, you hyperventilate. And other things people hyperventilate when not really sad, but you know what I mean. Now, there are other states of consciousness. No, I'm keeping it real. There's other states of consciousness that you don't breathe hyperventilating. And what state of mind is that? They both said it earlier, I'm feeling very calm, more aware. So your breathing is relatively affected by your emotional states. The hyperventilating breath, we call that the dog breath. And dogs don't live very long because they breathe like that. Turtles breathe very slow with that relaxed breath and live for 300 years. Do the math. Do the math. A dog panting and he doesn't live long. He's gone. Long breath, long life. Short breath, short life.
I'm gonna tell you something about the breath that is gonna take a little bit of imagination to quote unquote believe, right? So as we said, I said, breath is synonymous to what? Spirit, right? Because the root word or the etymology of spirit is breath, is breathing. So my grandfather made transition about 2009, I believe, right? Now, he was the very first one that taught me the power of the number 4. He was the very first one to get me excited about this number. If you don't know anything about me, I communicate with the number 44. I need you to develop a 4-4 breathing system. Now, when I had got into the Bakwa, little did I know this was also a 4-4 system. They have a lot of 4-4 modalities already intertwined in this ancient system. You know what I'm saying? So I almost felt at home because I was able to now apply a practical application to a theoretical, system that I had. And what I was able to do as well by listening is develop a breathing technique that utilizes the 4-4 counting system. So I'm going to share that with you as well, because whenever you find yourself hyperventilating, whenever you find yourself short of breath, whenever you find yourself out of the rhythm of breathing, you should utilize this particular breathing technique. And there's been entire days where I'll go the entire day just practicing this breathing technique, this breath. And once I practice it, it goes on autopilot. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It starts running on its own. You feel me? So we're gonna do this. It's a 4-4, this is 4 sets of 4. On the inhalation, you count to 4. Like I said, breathing from the abdominals, right? You hold it for a 4 count. You exhale for 4. You wait 4 seconds, and then you do it again. So, all right, let's demonstrate, y'all. You ready? All right, here we go. So there's a way to utilize and to channel, to pull energy from the earth into your legs, you know what I'm saying, so you can root yourself. And, you know, everything outside, and again, if working out is your thing, if going to the gym is your thing, then you have to understand that the foundational aspects of your legs is everything in the gym, because the majority of testosterone is stored where? In your legs and your lower back. Okay, if your legs is weak, you're not gonna get the pull from your back that you need. You're gonna hurt yourself. And then you gotta move the lymphatic fluid as well that's in your legs that your body doesn't have a natural pump for. So for certain people, based on your body type, it's almost mandatory that you do leg workout. When you go in the gym, you need to do leg workout every day. You walk on your legs every day. So that's also a false premise that we gotta take one day out for leg day. No, start your workout initiating after you're breathing, get into some leg work, and then you can start everything else. Because you gotta release the testosterone in your body that you're gonna have to utilize for your workout to extend your workout if you want the gains that you're looking for. So, all right, let's do this.
Okay, before we start, I want to say that standing is one of the key to standing up to your weaknesses in your life. So this particular exercise, and every exercise that I've taught y'all so far, has psychological effects to your mind. This is not just physical exercise. You're not just standing there, not just flexing your body for no reason. Actually, this is the psychological effects to you. You see how you're more calm, I'm more focused. This is a psychological effect. It's not just you just doing some exercise. So standing, the key to understanding what standing is it makes you stand up to your own weaknesses. Okay? The more standing you do, the stronger you will be standing up to your own bullcrap.
Visualization is key during these particular modalities, as well as you didn't tell them about the, you know, when we pressing on the floor, about putting the majority of the weight.
Oh, at 7:30? Yeah. When you stand, you should have 70% of the weight on your ball of your foot, and 30% of the weight should be on the back of your knee. I mean, on the back of your heel. And the reason why is when you are 70-30, it allows you the ability to flow and float. You know, it allows you to be able to attack your opponent and evade your opponent without being off balance, to be honest with you. So you know, it's a martial art. So it's a healing art, but it has fighting applications to it. You know what I'm saying? You can protect yourself with it, but you also can defeat an opponent with it.